Hi everyone, this is Marie Blue Angel, and I am back with Love and Country. Last time we left Lillian when she was still in a hotel room, just about when Mr. Captain, I think it's Shipman, aka this man right here, blonde boy here, was trying to leave because she didn't know anything really that is generally useful for, um, intelligence information needed that might help his side of things. So she devised a plan very quickly to try and get him to stay, and hopefully she gets out of this pretty okay. I do wonder what has happened to Emil still, um, but I guess we'll find out. Let me load in the part and we'll get started. My other hand floats up towards his face like a ghostly vapor, beckoning him to me. Still, he does not resist. My fingers spread over his cheek, my thumb resting below his lip. This is it. This is the moment it could end all. It could all end. I could be left in the dust, crouched over broken porcelain without a hope left for my safety. If he pulls away now, if he questions this. The hands that hover over the teaspoon on the floor connect more fully, fingers interlacing. My heart skips. Oh, I left us off at a very good part where things are going to happen. And then, to my delight, he kisses me. Ooh, what a good CG. A small, delicate kiss, as if just after a taste of me. But then I hear the teacups rattle and more warmth envelop me as he pulls me into him. Our kiss deepens, his hands clasp about my face and the nape of my neck. He leans backwards, and I soon realize he is against the armchair, and I am straddling his lap. The delicate fabric of my dress is pulled taut against my legs and my backside. My garters are on display for him. On top of him like this, I feel powerful, and it's intoxicating. And I can't help but think that this ploy may have worked too well. I'm enjoying this. His taste, his touch, the smell of his soap mixed with his body's chemistry. I'd been warned so many times that the men I seduce wouldn't be the ones I'd actually want to kiss. Should I be more wary of this then? It feels too good. I keep my forehead pressed to his as our lips break, hovering near him, taking shallow breaths of his air. Ashen lashes hang over his honey hazel eyes. His blonde hair, so carefully combed back before, now falls forward, making him look undone. Finished appreciating his face, I run my hand down his neck and chest, continuing down his front until I reach the buttons of his trousers. My boldness knows no bounds. He gives the slightest hiss as I press my palm against him, feeling how much he's been holding himself back. His neck cranes towards me, trying to catch me in another kiss, but I pull back teasingly. Denied the kiss, he nuzzles into the crook of my neck, causing me to let off. I was like, I can't read this. I wanted to say off because I saw soft. Causing me to let out a soft moan. I shouldn't be enjoying this as much as I am. I'm brought back by a tug. He's got the end of the ribbon adorning my neck with his teeth, and he's pulling. The ribbon! He's about to see what's underneath. My hand flies up to my neck to cover the love bites from last night, but it's too late. His body stiffens, and he goes still. For a moment, we are both frozen, waiting to see what the other does. He gently pulls my hand away, leaving my bruised skin in full view. I want to know if Anton was all like, she's totally into me, or did he have suspicions? I feel like he would have suspicions, you know? He's a smart man. Is there music going? I can't tell. Okay, we're gonna leave it. This is what you've been trained for, how you gather information. He trails off into silence. Once more, I'm left unable to decipher what's happening behind his mask. Perhaps this is a time to drop pretenses. I take his cheek in my hand. Captain, I don't have any information of value to offer, but I have something else that you want. You understand, right? It's a desperate move, offering my body for my freedom. But what other options do I have? Sherba? Is that a B or like something like a trill of sorts, like a bilabial, like a little trill? I don't know. My bad. I can't read that. Oh, I hear the music. Okay, I mean, honestly, I don't blame Lillian. Like, she's like, I need to get out of here alive for my freedom. Like, I get it. She was willing to do whatever she needed to do, and there's no shame in that. He takes me by the waist and firmly pushes me away. My gamble has backfired. We sit apart from each other and stare down at the broken china. Have I ruined my last chance? Captain Shipman drags his hand down his face before returning his focus to me. That should never have happened. You. Me? You put me in this position. He kissed me first, and I'm not about to let him forget that. That's true. He did. I did. I'm not blaming you. He rises and staggers away from me. I blame myself. He mutters this along with the few other things I don't quite catch. I stand and smooth my skirts, attempting to recompose myself. Captain, what is going to keep me alive and out of prison? He stops in his tracks. If you aren't going to let me go, reconsider my offer. Offer? To work for you. This seems to shake him from his daze. He meets my gaze and holds it. All of the confidence in his eyes has melted away. You'll change your allegiance and work for the Abtalung the third B. I'm so sorry I'm butchering that. You're sure? You're sure that is what you want? The earnestness with which he asks sends this shiver down my spine. Changing my loyalties would be dangerous. He said as much earlier. But if it's a choice between working for the Germans or going on trial for espionage, yes. He sighs resignedly. Very well. I will pass that along. Wait, isn't that your decision? Given what's happened, I'm not going to be able to remain objective. Someone will come to escort you to the train station shortly. I feel as though I've been hit in the gut. Where are you going? I have other matters to attend to before I leave. He goes to put on his hat and coat, avoiding my gaze as much as he can. I hope I see you in Berlin. Hope? With that, Shipman leaves the room. As soon as the door clicks shut, I rush to it, pressing my ear to the crack. There is a prolonged exchange between Captain Shipman, Walter, and Eugene. I can tell they are being reprimanded, but the sound is too muffled to make out anything more specific. Giving up, I plop down on the carpet and start picking at a fuzz, letting my hopelessness overtake me. Hopelessness overtake me. I read that right. Okay, the first time. I thought I missed a syllable. Betraying the Allies felt terrible enough, but to have it all be for nothing. I can't help but wonder what Margot would have wanted me to do in this situation. If she'd understand the choice I made. And the consequences of this choice are unclear. I didn't dislike Captain Shipman. I could see working with him. But the way he felt, he wanted nothing to do with me. He abandoned me, leaving me to the mercy of the Abtalung 3rd B. Everything about my future is hazy, if there's a future at all. My thoughts are interrupted by a light tap, tap, tap on the glass of the window. It's raining. Or it's not? I jump to my feet and run across the room. Pulling the partially drawn curtain away, I can see the figure of a person through the rain-spattered glass. Is it Emile? I almost yell when I realize who it is, but edit my explanation to a hoarse whisper. I mean, why would he be here? Is it one of the soldiers, like Walter, Eugene? Emile! Ah! I unlatch the window and push it open, allowing him to crawl inside. Oh. He is shivering and wet, but I don't care. I throw my arms around him before he's even fully in. Oh God, Emile, I didn't think I would ever see you again. I keep my voice low, as Eugene and Walter will no doubt look if they hear talking. I can still hardly believe that Emile is here, that I don't have to answer any of the questions I was asking myself moments ago. I'm sure he's a mirage, so I keep holding him tight, not caring that the damp from his clothes is soaking into mine. When I pull back, he takes his thumb along my cheek,
brushing away the tears I hadn't even realized I let out. As I look him over, I realize he's not wearing what I saw him in this morning. Why are you dressed like a porter? I needed a disguise. I'll explain later, but we need to go. Now. How? The same way I came in. I poke my head out the window and inspect the ledge. It's less than a foot wide, and the street is a long way down. A fall from this height would be fatal. Emil puts his hands on my shoulders and whispers into my ear. I've done it once, so you know it is possible. Terrifying as the prospect of scaling the wall is, I'm only too aware that it's the only option. Not wanting to attempt it in heels, I slip off my boots, tie the laces together, and swing them over my shoulder. Okay, on y va. Here we go. I watch Emil crawl out the window, swinging one leg over to find the ledge outside. He leans out as he stands, keeping an arm and leg hooked inside until he finds his balance. He starts shifting slowly to the side, calling back to me once he's cleared the way. The sound of the rain muffles him somewhat. Allez. One step at a time. You can do this, girl. I sit on the sill just as he did and copy the same movements. I momentarily freeze. From inside the hotel, the rain did not look so heavy, but it's falling in absolute buckets. Can I do this without slipping?
Hell yeah, you can. Okay, this is scary though.
As I stand, it's hard not to look out at the city below us. Don't look down. Focus on where your hands go. Oh. Every place I put my hands and feet is wet from the rain. I can feel my toes attempting to grip to the ledge below. My hands clutch onto various pieces of stonework along the building. The wind blows mercilessly, chilling us. Progress is slow. The muscles of my arms begin to shake with the tension holding on as we shimmy along the wall. Upon reaching an open window, Emil dexterously maneuvers himself inside. It's so smooth that he have to have done this before, and many times at that. I'll have to consider this later, though, given the focus required on keeping my balance. I shimmy closer to the window when Emil offers his hand again. Oh. As I pull myself towards him, my foot slips. My legs dangle freely as I hang from the windowsill. For a moment, Emil just stares at me, eyes wide like saucers. Remembering himself, he leans out, grabbing me as I try to pull myself up. With a heave, I'm lifted over the sill, but immediately tumble forward.
Ooh, cute. Me saying it's like, wow, we just escaped us, so, we're fine.
I fall squarely onto Emil, and we both hit the floor with a thud. I'm so exhausted from the strain of what we did that I don't move. I feel the rise and fall of his chest lifting me up and down, its rhythm comforting. When I do manage to push myself up, I look down at Emil awkwardly. His hair, wet from the rain, sticks to his forehead. The best I can do is mutter an apology as I roll off of him. Sorry. So, what now?
I love it's just like a flip version of, the other hotel room, but it's perfect. Because that's what hotel rooms are like.
Emil rises and starts pulling sheets and blankets from the bed. I have a laundry cart here. You get in and I'll push the cart. That seems a little... Hey! I'm scooped up suddenly from the floor and unceremoniously dropped. Ugh! Into the laundry cart. Hey, Emil! My outcry is not out of pain. I landed softly, if ungracefully, into the blanket spalled up at the bottom of the canvas lining. I'm more upset at having been surprised. Before I can scold him, Emil tosses a pillow and some sheets over me, casting me into darkness. Shh. Shh. Shoot.
I can't remember. There was if my high school French teacher used to say something to kind of tell us to be quiet, but it was something about a waterfall. Anyways, that's what that reminded me of. Hush. Laundry doesn't talk.
The canvas sways back and forth with me inside, my clue that Emil is pushing the cart now. Muffled noises and changes in movement provide little hints as to where we might be. A stop. Squeaking hinges. A halting push. The door shutting. Another smooth push. We must be back in the hallway. 2 male voices speaking German. Oh, God. Does Emil realize that Walter and Eugene were the ones guarding my door? Back to the front. Back to the front, Walter. Well, maybe we deserve it. I told my mother we would be safe here for a while. She'll be so worried. I let out the breath I was holding as their voices fade. By some miracle, Walter and Eugene were too absorbed in their conversation to notice us. Now the porter's jacket Emile had on makes sense. It's probably what the hotel employees wear. We come to another stop, and after a few minutes, the ding of a bell is followed by a metal clank and a short push. The elevator?
Well, could I tug? Like what floor?
That's probably the elevator operator. Emile doesn't speak a lick of German, but a sehr gut followed by mechanical whirring tells me that Emile probably guessed what was being asked and held up his fingers in response. Ich dachte, ich kenne jede, der ihr arbeitet. Wann haben Sie dich eingestellt? I tense. There's no way Emile can fake his way through a conversation. There's no way I can help him either. I'm useless under these sheets. We're only saved by another chime. Hopefully it's our floor. The metal door clatters again. Flurfin, Durfin. Is that what Emile thinks German sounds like?
I mean, it's a good guess as any, to be honest, if you just don't know anything.
Was? I feel Emile pushing the cart forward, leaving the confused operator behind him. Hopefully we won't run into anyone else who wants to chat with Emile. The continuous motion makes me think that we must be in another hallway. After a few minutes we stop and Emile unearths me from the mountain of bedding in the cart. I look up at him through mussed locks of hair. Flurfin, Durfin. Emile frowns. Are you serious? You're giving me shit for that? With a penitent pout, I scramble out of the cart and we head for the door that leads to the alleyway.
I'm sorry.
We disappear into the streets of Lorach, weaving our way through the city and heading towards the river. The unending rain has driven everyone else indoors, leaving the streets almost abandoned. Emile holds his coat over our heads. It doesn't do much to keep us dry, but it does shield our faces from view. Any soldier unlucky enough to be on patrol duty in this downpour thinks nothing of us as we pass. On the outskirts of town, we find a private boathouse. Emile cases the place and we talk through our plan. Wait until we have the cover of night, take one of the rowboats, then make our way across the river. If we do that in the dark, there is less chance we'll be seen, both while committing the theft and while making the crossing. The only thing left to do, then, is to bide our time until the sun goes down. We sit on the planks for a while in silence until a clattering outside makes me jump so hard I nearly fall into the water. There are hurried footsteps, and somewhere not too far away, a dog barks. The Germans are still very much in pursuit of us. I shiver. Emile, seeing me upright after catching my near fall, setting me upright after catching my near fall, crawls over to the rowboat, slowly undulating before us, and removes the tarpaulin draped over it. We should hide. I look at the boat, then at him. In there? No, I thought we would go underwater and hold our breaths for a few hours. I throw him a wary look as a response to his sarcasm, but step into the boat without further complaint.
He's back in his little suit. I love it. I'm really hoping that we'll be okay. I'm really hoping that we're the best, because I was really scared for a second. I was like, oh my gosh, Lillian's going to have to work with the Germans, and like, again, she's going to have to do double spying, and then where's Emile, etc., you know? Anyways, fingers crossed for you guys. Sending good vibes.
It sways slightly as Emile follows me, forcing me to sit in order to keep from toppling overboard.
Oh, another CG. They're so cute.
He tosses a tarpaulin over our heads and we lay flat on our backs to stay out of sight. It's a tight fit. We lay there stiffly, shoulder to shoulder, afraid to speak or move too much for fear of calling attention to our odd hiding place. We fall quiet again, listening for signs that the jig might be up, but they don't come. No more footsteps, no more barking dogs. Just the rain against the wooden roof and our slow breaths underneath the canvas cover. A feeling of relief washes over me. I turn slightly to Emile, whose eyes are closed under his typical furrowed brow. What? I start. His eyes open slowly and drift over to meet mine. He must have felt me watching him. I color, feeling like I've been caught somehow. This is awkward, but I have so much on my mind. Is it all right to ask him? Is it ungrateful to wonder? Emil, why did you come back for me? He says nothing. This makes me bristle. You could have been in Switzerland by now. You didn't have to go through any of this. It was reckless, dangerous. So I should have not bothered. No, of course I'm glad you bothered, but... thank you will do. We don't have to talk about it. I guess his reasons are his own. It shouldn't surprise me that Emil doesn't want to open up. This is how he's been right from the start. Well, I'd at least like to know what happened. He lets out a heavy sigh and sits up. He pulls the tarpaulin off of us. After I outran that soldier, I came back to find out what happened to you. I saw that man take you down the street to the fancy hotel. I couldn't follow you in, so I snuck in through the back. I stole that jacket so I stand out less. After that, I wandered the hall, checking every floor with that stupid laundry cart until I saw our friends from last night. I figured they must be guarding you, so I broke into the next room. The room next door. It was lucky they were too busy arguing with each other to notice me. And well, you know the rest.
Okay, quick on your feet. Thanks, Emil.
Emil pushes his damp hair out of his eyes and leans forward, away from me. I prop myself up on my elbows, watching him chew absent-mindedly on his thumb. His hand and mouth seem breathless without anything else to occupy them.
Oh, he doesn't have his cigarettes.
He must have lost his cigarettes. I assume that is what troubles him until he speaks up again. What exactly happened in that hotel room? What does he mean by exactly? The man who caught us was German counterintelligence. He brought me there for questioning. I didn't know anything, though. Intentionally. I can't help but wonder if Emil knew more about this mission brief than he told me, or if he too was kept in the dark. I expect a follow-up question, but I'm surprised when instead Emil turns to me, a serious look in his face, or in his eye. I saw you. Through the window.
I wince inwardly.
He means he saw me throwing myself at Captain Shipman. How humiliating. I was trying to convince him to let me go. I was using every tool at my disposal. At least I can be grateful that he can't see into my head, that he can't see how caught up I was in that moment. That part of me actually enjoyed it. I pushed down that unsettling thought. It didn't really work out in the end. That man must have balls of steel then. I quirked my head at him. I didn't expect him to understand, let alone approve of resorting to such tactics.
I mean, if he didn't, I had problems with Emil, Like, truly, I'd be like, we're spies at the end of the day, Lillian's a spy, Emil's a spy, you gotta do what you gotta do.
He looks away, avoiding my quizzical eye. I'm just saying, from where I was, it looked like you almost had him.
He was like, honestly, he was like, okay. He was like, I'm rooting for you, girl. That's what he was doing, from outside. He was like, I'm rooting for you, girl.
How long were you watching?
Now we are both embarrassed.
Long enough to feel strange about it.
I mean, he was probably like, oh, she's busy. He's probably like, I thought I was going to come in and help her out, but she might be good.
I did tell you I've been trained in seduction. I didn't believe you. I do now, I suppose. My face grows warm. I fold my arms in front of me indignantly. Whoops, sorry, my microphone. Well, I'm sorry you had to see that, but this is all your fault, I wanted to run. He looks for a second like he wants to balk, but ultimately softens. He digs the heels of his palms into his eyes. Yes, I know. I really thought there was still a chance. They arrested Denham before we even got there. Poor Herbert Denham. A man in his condition would be unlikely to withstand the hardships of a prison. Captain Shipman gave me soft treatment, but I doubt the same courtesy will be extended to Denham. If the interrogation doesn't kill him, his disease soon will. I'm not sure if we could have saved him. If the Germans hadn't moved him, if we had arrived sooner, if we hadn't drawn attention to him last night. We'll never know with any certainty whether we could have changed his fate. We'll never get the information he was collecting. Who knows if that information could have saved the lives of soldiers and civilians caught up in the middle of this war. Emil and I will always carry the weight of that. I guess that's why I had to come back for you. I'm not sure that that is the whole of it, but I can understand why Emil wouldn't want one more life on his conscience. Maybe I can't fully trust him, but I'll always remember that he did come back for me. I offer him a small smile. Thanks. I follow his eyes to the floor between us where my hand rests. He places his own hand next to mine. His fingers stretch out, the edge of his pinky reaching, brushing my skin. Is he going to hold my hand? Something tightens in my core. He hesitates before retreating. I watch his hand draw back with some disappointment, though I can't quite put together why I should feel like that. Ugh, you guys, please. The rain has lightened to a drizzle, making the quiet feel even more present. So, what are you going to say in your report? My report? I'll have to tell everything to Margot. I'll have to tell her that I failed her, the details of which will be sent back to the DB. In truth, that matters very little in comparison to how I fare in Margot's eyes. I mean, I'll tell them what happened. Everything. Even the part where we got shit-faced. As much as I don't want to admit wrongdoing, I think they're going to have to know about the drinking. You've got to be kidding me. I'm not sure I can tell this story without admitting to what happened last night at the bar. We were doing our best to maintain our cover and not to raise suspicions. It backfired spectacularly, but we did try. There are other parts that I will likely leave out. There's no point in telling anyone how I almost fell into bed with Emil last night. And the fact that I agreed to join the enemy when I thought all hope was lost, that is something I will take to my grave. But the things Emil seems concerned about are forgivable. Listen, if what I was told during questioning was true, the Germans were already very much onto Denham, more so than we were led to believe. Don't get me wrong, I don't think we helped matters last night, but they were about to arrest him anyway. He still seems worried. I was so sure he didn't take anything seriously when I first met him 2 nights ago. Again, only 2 nights ago. My goodness. But he must care quite a lot. Otherwise, I don't think he'd be feeling this way now. It won't be that bad. Easy for you to say. I want to ask him what he means by that, but he stands from the boat and observes that it's probably dark enough for us to move on now. I want to know more about Emil's backstory. Truly. Emil doesn't speak as we fully remove the tarpaulin from the rowboat. He seems surprised as I swiftly undo the mooring. I mention quietly that I spent a few summers helping out at the San Francisco Yacht Club. The concept is completely foreign to him, so I explain a few terms here and there, including what a yacht is, and ending up prattling about a boy I like named Chester, who was the fastest rower in the Bay Youth Maritime League. He listens with unexpected patience. The boat rocks back and forth as we climb back in. Ooh, pretty. With a smooth push, we glide out from the cover of the boathouse. Out in the open, we grow silent once more. We are probably both thinking the same thing. What awaits us in Paris? They both look like, yeah, they're just like looking out into the future. Margot has never been angry with me, but I believe I could handle her anger. It's the disappointment I won't be able to bear. Disappointment that her friend has been left in the dust. Disappointment that her efforts in training me weren't enough. She was counting on me, and I let her down. I know in the last part we succeeded, but like, you made decisions. We're sticking to them. We'll see what happens. I wonder what's going to happen to Emil, though. As for Emil, I can only imagine there are things at stake for him as well. He was so reluctant to leave Denham behind. He eschewed all logic in order to try to save him. Only a man with something important on the line would do that. I watch as Emil rows, a slightly bitter but determined look on his face. The light breeze on the river flutters a few dark hairs over his eyes. His side profile looks good. So sorry, this is so like, ooh, negative feelings, but I'm just like, wow, he looks so good. We're all feeling sad though, I'm sorry. I wish I felt that determined, that certain about something right now. About everything. It'd be easy to cast blame, to say that I should have listened to my gut back in the alley instead of listening to Emil. But that wouldn't be entirely honest. Without him, I'd probably be on my way to Berlin in dire straits. Somewhere between my gratitude and my resentment is the memory of last night. My fingers absently trace the collar of the mark on my neck, and I become warm. There's something there with Emil. Or is there? I swear that there was something there with Anton Shipman, too. Even though it's implausible, even though he's the enemy, I can't deny that his hands felt good on me. That even though I was in the greatest of dangers, I felt safe in his arms. The wrongness of the thought makes me shudder, and that I could feel the way, and that I could feel that way with both of them calls my judgment severely into question. I can't put myself in this position ever again. The next time I give in to distraction might cost me my life. I have to get past all these mistakes and keep moving forward. Emil looks over to me as we near the Swiss bank. Lillian, are you ready? I nod, coolly. I think I am.
Dun dun dun. Oh, okay. 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 We're gonna go back to the. That is so interesting. Okay, I will say I prefer the other ending because it still kind of leaves open. If you haven't watched that part, you should watch that. We basically succeed, and it's a little bittersweet in how it ends between Emil and Lillian, but they succeeded their mission. Now that I think about it, though, even though they had a bittersweet end, or like goodbye from each other, basically, I still think there's still something open for the future. And like also, I'm a hopeless romantic, so I'm gonna hope that those two at some point keep reconnecting in some ways and maybe stay together. I don't know. Maybe that's not the point of this game. It probably isn't, but like I want them to be together. I am a Lillian Emil shipper, if you want to call it that. But I'm glad I feel like I made the right choice the first time. And it was interesting seeing the second choice after the fact, and that we got to see a bit of Anton in this route. He's interesting. I can't wait to make a different decision the next time and see a bit more of him and learn more about him with Lillian. And also, maybe I should anticipate some reappearance of Emil in one of those, routes or variations of, the Anton route, as I'm calling it. So yeah, this is so good. It was a lot more like again, both Emil and Lillian live, but Denham doesn't, or at least most likely is not going to survive in German jail because of how sick he is, but also if he goes under any trials, etc. So that's sad about the ending, particularly. But, hopefully both of these two will grow as spies and they'll be fine. And again, it kind of leaves like an open question of like, maybe there's something more with the two of them in terms of like romantic pursuits, etc. But, the writing is leaving it up to the audience's imagination. But I've really enjoyed following this half of Love and Country. It's giving me a lot to think about, and again, I just can't wait to dive in some more and get more details. So hopefully you have enjoyed watching too. If you like the video, please press the like button, and if you like to subscribe to my channel and see more of Love and Country, or any other indie visual novels that I play, please feel free to subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. Anyways, thank you again for watching. I will see you next time.